But we'll go
Hmm.
into the NFL a little bit. We'll review some of the Week 18 games, and then talk about a little bit of these wild card schedule that's coming up. But Week 18, one of the first games, and I put two games together because it sort of coincided and went together. It was Panthers Bucks and Atlanta versus the Saints. So Panthers Bucks needed a win to just stay alive on Saturday. They barely squeaked it out with a win, 16-14 over the Panthers. Like I say, sloppy game, I think, due to weather. It was pretty much a monsoon in Tampa during that game.
Hmm.
But like I said, they did what they had to do. Um, like I say, stat wise, I think Tampa's the overall better team. Carolina's just been able to pull out games, have the same record. But the game that sort of mattered for this was Atlanta versus the Saints, and Atlanta needed to lose for the Bucks to get in with that win. And if Atlanta would have won, I think it was a three-way tie in that division, and Carolina had the tiebreaker to all three teams. So Falcons won 19-17, got close, but overall eliminating the Bucks. So Panthers are in. Um, your takeaways from this game, Tim?
Um, Kind of lackluster. You know, I think Baker was definitely hurt a very large portion of the season this year. Not making excuses. Uh, he just did not look very good. The 203 passing yards, I think, is some of the most yards he's had in a while.
Yeah.
Um, Bucky Irving being out a while.
Mhm.
Evans obviously was banged up quite a bit. Igbuka was never the same after a few weeks into the season. He didn't really
Mhm.
follow up on much. He only had one catch for 8 yards this game. I don't know. Did he get injured this game at all, or did he stay healthy? He just wasn't
No,
targeted.
he just hasn't been used the way I think he was at the beginning, and I think
Yeah.
it's because all the everybody was healthy, and I think just game plan, and I think it's also Baker Mayfield being injured sort of played a little bit of a factor.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, it's tough when you leave, I guess, your fate up to other teams.
Mm-hmm.
And just the visuals of Baker panicking in his kitchen of his house with his wife
Yeah.
taking photos of him. I'm sure he loved that. But hey, he's focused in, he was watching. I'm a Baker fan. I think that, he's always been fun to watch. I think his treatment in Cleveland was a bummer. I'm glad he's found a rejuvenation with Tampa. I think next year will be a better year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a big part of that is they need to fire their head coach. I think
Hmm.
it's time to move on. We haven't heard any noise about that yet. There's been plenty of firings, but there's been no reveal of head coaching change in Tampa that I've seen. Have you?
No, not Tampa as of right now. So if we haven't heard of it, I think by end of day tomorrow, I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's just kind of a head scratcher. I think a change is needed. Because in her
Hmm.
division, Atlanta already, fired Fontenot and their head coach. So yeah,
Hmm.
that I kind of we saw that coming even with the hot finish that the Falcons had. But
Hmm.
this division has kind of been like this for a while. Ever since Drew Brees left with New Orleans, and Brady retired. It's just been kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
It's a competitive division in a sense
Mhm.
that, what was it? Three teams finished 8-9, right? It's
Yeah.
crazy. And
Yeah.
then it's
So
who beat who and
yeah,
by how much.
no, it's crazy on how that division ended up, and I think it was a surprise. I do think Bucks need to make a change there because they have a solid squad. Mike Evans is only getting older. Chris Godwin's only getting older. It seems like Rashad White might be moving on from one of his posts recently. So this is a team that's just getting older, but has the potential and sort of not to waste Baker Mayfield's, last few years, it's getting a coach that sort of does a little bit better for this team. Um, so we'll see
Mhm.
what happens with them. Um, and then yeah, Atlanta, new coach, Saints, up and coming. Um, there's a lot going on there, but next game Saturday night, Seahawks versus 49ers. Big game, important game, tough game for your team. 49ers losing, giving Seahawks that number one seed in the NFC. Um, Overall take for me, like I say, bummer for the 49ers because like I say, it's home field throughout the whole playoffs they could have had. Um, but you play another week. You have the playoffs coming up. Solid game. Purdy, meh. My take, I may be going back to it. But so like I say, it didn't hurt you guys. I think just the only bummer for you guys is you guys lost home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs.
Yeah, no, that's a big issue is in Shanahan said it right where, this game just our best odds of making it to a Super Bowl was winning this game, and unfortunately we didn't do it.
Hmm.
Offense really ceased to exist. The interception that Purdy threw is more on McCaffrey.
Hmm.
McCaffrey didn't really play very well. The whole team was just kind of meh. But, no Trent Williams.
Hmm.
Juwan Jennings got kind of banged up early in the game. Kittle, first game back from injury again. Um, the injuries is just the issue. On the defensive side, it's pretty remarkable that we held Seattle to only 13
Hmm.
points, but to name a few things is like the 3rd and 17 where Kenneth Walker was
Hmm.
able to convert that on a run is
Yeah.
despicable. And I think John Lynch's reaction to that is
Oh yeah, I saw
how all
that.
Niners fans felt. It just can't happen like that.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But again, we're missing so many elements to that.
Hmm.
Bethune, who just came back from injury, season-ending groin injury, I believe it is. So that's a bummer.
Hmm.
Um, I guess if we make it there, they announced today, kind of confirmed in a way, that Warner will be back for the conference championship. So I
Okay.
hope we make it
Nice.
there and see him. Um, yeah, it's we just not a great game.
Yeah.
I'm not even good. The Seattle defense is very good, though.
Oh
That
yeah.
is a very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the stats, I don't know if you've seen this. I think a lot of people have seen it. Every time there is a new pope, Seattle goes to the Super Bowl. Haven't won the Super Bowl all the time, but anytime there's a new pope assigned, that year Seattle is a Super Bowl team. So if
Whoa.
if the Vatican and the Pope is into the NFL, Seattle will be in the Super Bowl per that stat.
But what if the Pope is from Chicago? Is
Well,
probably a very big Bears.
he could be a very big Bear fan, but the Bears haven't made the Super Bowl every time there's been a new pope. So, just a fun
Yeah.
fact and a fun stat that I saw with
Yeah.
Seattle. But yeah,
I like that.
great
Maybe that's our
defense.
issue.
It could be. It could be.
Oh
Next
man.
game I had on the docket to sort of discuss, and this one's a quick one. Browns versus Bengals. Big thing, Myles Garrett getting the sack record. I did see
Yeah.
Strahan sort of talking about it. He Myles Garrett did in 17 games while he did it in 16. Still a big accomplishment,
Yeah.
and honestly, the way some of these teams have played Myles Garrett the last few weeks, they've been playing to avoid being the team that he broke the record on. Because, like I say, Pittsburgh, they lost the game last week because they were playing to avoid letting Aaron Rodgers get sacked by Myles Garrett. I think if they would have just played a normal game, I think he would have got it there in 16 games and maybe even gotten more. So, but no, kudos to
Sure.
Myles Garrett. Great feat. Unfortunate that it's on the Browns, and that's the most he'll probably ever do on the Browns until something drastically changes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, quick thing as well on that, obviously Amazing Miles Garrett, he's worth, all the money that they pay
Hmm.
him. Um, it's just his choice to, be on a bad team while doing what
Yeah.
he does. Um, but Jamar Chase has done a phenomenal job at making a lot of NFL fans not like him this year. Like the spitting incident, and then
Hmm.
his comments about Miles Garrett after the game. He said, and this is his quote, "That's like me catching my 10th pass and the whole team running on the field and they got to call a flag on that play. Congrats to him and everything." Like, dude, shut up. Like, you are so annoying. Like, dude, both teams are playing for nothing.
Hmm.
Like, that game is stupid. Like,
Yeah.
it's not stupid, but it's like, it's meaningless. Like, you guys are there to collect a paycheck and
Yeah.
give a show to the fans and, go out
Yeah.
with a win, hopefully. But, like, dude, you are so petty, Jamar. Like, you're an incredible talent, but the stuff you're doing this season is so dumb. Like,
It's
that is
been bad.
just yeah, it's so lame, man. Like it's an incredible record.
Hmm.
It's 23 sacks is crazy. Um, and then you just to say like, oh, it's like me catching my 10th pass. Like,
Yeah.
okay, chill out. Like, big
Yeah.
difference, Jamar.
Yeah.
He's
Like I
just
say.
mad. Season didn't go his way.
Yeah, I think the season didn't go his way. I think if he was on par to break a receiving record, he would have done everything in his power to do that against the Browns. But like I say, he didn't have that he wasn't relying on that or had that on the line. So like I say, if it was, switched up, he would have been the same way, playing his heart out, trying to get that, yardage record, whatever it could have been, week 18 for a game that
Yeah.
didn't mean anything to both teams. So yeah, that guy should just sort of not talk too much, focus on football, stop making those dumb choices. Because like I say, he is a superstar. He is someone that a lot of people look up to, but some of his actions this year have been questionable and, like I say, not as professional. So, but we'll see
Yep.
what next year brings. Next game sort of bring up Raiders versus Chiefs. Raiders getting a win, Chiefs getting a loss, even a bigger stain on the
Nice.
Chiefs. But surprising Raiders winning and still able to keep that number one pick because the Giants won, Titans lost, Saints lost. So being able to keep the number one pick with a win, big thing. Like I said, Giants came out there and win. If Giants would have gone out there and lost, they would have had, I think, the number one pick. So um, kudos to the Raiders for winning and still not losing that number one pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, props to them. Yeah, Pete Carroll's already out.
Yep.
As we kind of thought, you get that first pick. We talked about this, Mendoza most likely coming in, becoming your new quarterback, and I think it's only right to kind of give him a fresh, head
Hmm.
coach to kind of work along with. So it makes a lot of sense. Um, but yeah, no, the Raiders they got a lot to do besides just quarterback.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can keep Crosby there based
Hmm.
off of, him
I
storming out of
heard.
the building.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, no, yeah, he's going to be benched. Could win. Yep, game winner. That's
Yeah.
cool. Chiefs. Uh, Yikes.
Yeah.
No. It's oh, you think that's Kelsey's last game?
Um, I do because I don't think Patrick Mahomes is coming back until pretty much the end of next year. Because of that injury, it's going to take a full year to heal. I don't think they should rush him also. And like I say, this is trying to be pro Chiefs, pro Patrick. He's a franchise changing QB. Not the GOAT yet, could be the GOAT in the future. But like I say, he needs to come back healthy and for sure ready, because if you bring him too early just because you're trying to beat the Chiefs or trying to get back to the Super Bowl and you do it too early and he gets hurt again, his career could be over and you guys are just done for. So
Hmm.
I don't know if Travis Kelce will come back and play without him after seeing how the last few games without him went. Because, like I say, losing to the Raiders, that's a little bit of an embarrassment.
Oh yeah. No, it absolutely is. I think the whole season's an embarrassment. Because I mean they
Mhm.
were out of it I and that's not about injury. Don't
Yeah.
take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But they were out while Mahomes was still healthy.
Hmm.
That's the way I mean it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that very well could be the curtain call because let's just say Mahomes is back late next season. He's an older 37 years old at that point. Um, yeah, he's an October birthday. He's going to turn 37 in October.
Hmm.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't play next season, then it's like you're asking him to wait until he's 38. I don't think he wants to do that.
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to happen. He's had a hell of a career. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Hmm.
Um, he has obviously a huge life ahead of him with Taylor Swift. Going
Hmm.
to get married this offseason. Yeah, probably right off into the sunset. Call it a career. He's built a great career outside of football as well with the
Hmm.
podcast. So yeah, plenty for Travis to stay busy with, and is well on his way there. But yeah, Kansas City, I'm curious to see, how much longer Andy Reid rides it out with them. That's another thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, that's about it. Vegas,
Yeah.
I don't know. No, do something better. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure.
Ah,
The next slate of games I'll put together: Dolphins versus Pats, Broncos versus Chargers. These two games, Pats needed a win, and the Broncos lost to claim the number one seed in the AFC and get home field advantage through the playoffs. Pats did what they had to do. They beat the Dolphins, um, pretty easily. They did well, and then Broncos came up with the win. But I will say Broncos had an easier game because they played the pretty much the backups of the Chargers. Chargers were resting their players, which I don't blame them because, like I say, they were in the playoffs already. They had not much to fight for other than seeding. But no matter what, they were going to travel anywhere, and I think they feel capable of playing any of these teams and winning with a healthy team. So, um, kudos to the Broncos. Uh, I think one of the stats I heard is the last 8 times they've been the number one seed, six of them they went to the Super Bowl. So a good sign for them here in
hmm.
the AFC. Uh, Pats though, Drake May MVP.
It's in between him and Stafford, right?
I think so.
Or is it AFC, NFC separated?
I
Um,
I think it's all
isn't
together.
there's only one, yeah,
Yeah.
because Stafford threw what another four touchdowns this week, right? So
Hmm.
he's up to like 46, forty
Hmm.
four. But it's not all about that. A big part of me thinks that they're going to give it to Stafford.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I think Drake May is the MVP.
Hmm.
Just the difference of record between last year and this year
Hmm.
it's night and day. Like
Yeah.
what he's done at his age is
Hmm.
downright incredible. He made me look really good as well. Uh, no, but Drake May is the MVP in my eyes, but I
Uh-huh.
think they'll give it to Stafford.
Yeah, yeah. I think Drake May should win it. I think it could go to Stafford. May just did it a lot, did it with not as great of a team and supporting staff as Stafford has had, and like I say, experience wise as well. Very still young kid compared to Stafford, who's played this game for so long and knows how to play it and play in those clutch situations. So it's going to be a coin toss. We'll see how the voters vote this, but great game. It'll be good. Last game, I would prefer not to talk about it, but we will talk about it. Steelers versus
Yeah.
Ravens. Big, big game Sunday night. I hated the game. I hated the way it ended. Um, Ravens losing by a field goal, missed kick in the final seconds of the fourth. My takeaway from our season: piss poor season for us. We should have done a lot better. This last game, the way we were playing just to stay alive in the playoffs, it shouldn't have been that way. We should have been resting starters and already just claimed the division and been in the playoffs. But the team as a whole, we played just badly. I don't know if it's coaching, if it's players, injury wise. Lamar had a probably one of his worst seasons. Um, I see a lot of comments, so I don't know if you've seen him, Tim. A lot of people saying don't blame Lamar for this loss. I see that everywhere. Like it's not Lamar's fault. I want to disagree with that a little bit, and the reason is first quarter Lamar did absolutely nothing for this team. We could have been up by so much more if Lamar played the way he played that fourth quarter. Yes, fourth quarter he kept us in it. He made big throws even in the third quarter, and that's why we stayed in the game. But if he would have done that the first two quarters, we wouldn't be stressing this way. Yes, we could put some blame on Tyler Loop for missing the field goal, but if you look at his record, above like 50 yards, that kid hasn't been as consistent, hasn't been automatic like, Aubrey or even Panero. He hasn't been as automatic as those type of kickers. So it's like you're putting a lot on this a first year rookie in a big game in a big rivalry week, and when the Priests blessed that side of the field goal, we should have known it
Mm.
wasn't good for us. So yeah, there's some blame for Loop, but honestly, we lost this game way before even that field goal. We shouldn't It shouldn't have gone that way. Defense didn't play well. How do we let this team stay in it without DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers at the helm? I don't know. Losing Kyle Hamilton was a big blow for us. Once he went out with that concussion, that hurt us. We could see our defense wasn't playing as great as we were that first half. So a lot of things went wrong. Bad season for us. Hated to see it this way, but like I say, we shouldn't have been banking on this game just to make the playoffs. That shows that our team, we just didn't have a great year. And like I say, as a fan, I hate to admit it, but it is the honest truth. We had a shitty year this year.
Yeah, no, very well said. I have the kind of the same sentiment that, you know, yeah, the not blaming Lamar, I feel like is pretty unfair because you take away those two, the 50-yard touchdown pass and the 64-yard touchdown pass to Zay Flowers. Lamar Jackson had a complete piss poor
Yeah.
performance. You take both of those away, the dude threw for 124 yards and one touchdown in a pick. Like it was not a good performance. And I think right before both of those long touchdowns occurred, I think I texted you saying like something's up with Lamar still. Like this dude does not look right. It's just something is wrong. Like he's not seeing the field very well. And then that they just need to rely on Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry can win this game for him. Um, so yeah, no, just from a team standpoint, and then obviously the slip is unfortunate with, the guy guarding Calvin Austin
Mhm.
led him to be wide open for that touchdown. It was just kind of a gimme touchdown. Kyle Hamilton going down was absolutely brutal. There's a lot
Mhm.
more elements. I
Yeah.
heard Tyler Loop and his wife are getting really nasty messages,
Yeah.
and it's incredibly uncalled for because it's like, yeah, you missed the field goal, but that game had no reason to be in that position.
Yeah.
Um, you beat me to it. I was going to ask about the holy water thing. See if that made a difference. I think it did. I think it did.
I think it did. I think every team's gonna take a priest now and bless both sides, or at least you have to bless one side of the field goal, and one side of the field, and
Yeah.
hope try to win that coin toss to have them kick there in the fourth so they could miss that game winning field goal because it could have been that. There's a lot of other factors, but with that happening, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah. Do you think you can get a traveling priest with you to start bless
Probably.
the field? Like just make him part of the roster?
Probably. Pay a salary.
Priest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get some
Yeah.
holy water in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's the team. Like I say, I think a lot of fans are gonna hate me saying this as a fan, but we had a shitty year. Like we have to admit we had a bad year. It we could say we could have the cowboy motto. This is our year. I think this was our year to probably make a difference and make that Super Bowl run the way our team was built. And like I say,
Yep.
Josh Allen right now is thanking the gods and the football gods and football heaven for no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes in these playoffs because his route, if he plays the way he has played in the playoffs and always getting stuck with Lamar and Patrick Mahomes and losing to them, he has an easy route to the Super Bowl. And like I say, it would be a
Mhm.
big win for the Bills final season in their stadium to get a W. Um, but yeah, but overall, Ravens, hate to see it, but if we would have done what we had to, if we would have done our job earlier in the season, we wouldn't have had to be worrying about this game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think all that considered, uh, Josh Allen is absolutely has the most pressure on him out of anybody, I think, in
Hmm.
this playoffs
Yeah.
altogether. This is his time, and then most of all, he gets to come back to, he grew up a Niners fan here in
Hmm.
California, so
Yeah.
Central Valley, but closer to the Niners area, and
Yeah.
he gets to play up north. So well,
Yeah.
let's see what happens. I hope he makes it. I am a big Josh Allen fan. If my Niners can't be there and we have to go against him, um, I'll be rooting for him. I think
Yeah.
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, we'll
good
go
stuff.
into wild card weekend. It's this weekend, first week. Teams on by Seattle and the Broncos, so we won't see them playing. But first game Saturday, Rams versus Panthers. Panthers already beat the Rams once this year. I don't think it'll happen again in SoFi again. Um, Rams are on a roll. Panthers, the way they've been playing, they could come up with a win, but I just don't see it happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Rams win that one. They're playing hot. They have a better team. Panthers are too fluky. They're on
Yeah.
the right route, but they're too
Yeah.
fluky.
Yeah. I think in 2 years they could be contending for the Super Bowl, depending on how they draft and how they sign free agents and who they keep.
Absolutely.
That run game needs to improve a little bit more, I think, and then just get some more help for McMillan in the wide receiver spot in that defense. So quite a bit,
Correct.
but yeah, Rams should take that one pretty easily. Next game, I think one of the two big games this week, Packers versus Bears, rivalry game. Uh, in Chicago, Bears have been playing nonstop. Packers have been struggling a little bit the last few weeks. Um, it if I had to pick a team, I want to go the Bears. My heart and mind, I think, goes with the Bears. Jordan Love, I think, might crack a little bit under the pressure, but he could also show up. But I think the Packers defense is probably hurt without Michael Parsons, so I think that's why the Bears. I give them the slight edge, but it'll be a close game.
Yeah, I've been really unimpressed with the Packers this season. I'm going Bears here for sure. I think the Bears win this one.
Yeah. Next one, we go into Sunday, 10 a.m. game, so the morning game. Bills versus Jaguars. I think the Bills win it, but man, the way these Jaguars are playing, Trevor Lawrence is playing, it's going to be a good game. I don't think you can count any of them out. You can't count them out.
Yeah. No, I guess this is my time to take away my do a full apology to T Law because if anybody's saw the clip this past week, he was given grills to match the meme that's going around. Full apology, swag galore, good vibes. He just needed a better coach in
Yeah.
GM, not named Trent Baalke. But yeah, props to him. I do think Bills win this though.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the Bills do well. I think they take it pretty easy. They're in Jacksonville, so we'll see what the weather does. But like I say, the run game for the
Mhm.
Bills is unstoppable. So if weather's bad, Bills have even a bigger advantage. So um, Bills
Absolutely.
Jags. I think the Bills got it. Next game Sunday, the 1:30 game. I think this is the second big game of the week. 49ers versus the Eagles. Going to Philadelphia,
Hmm.
going back. Um, Big game. Eagles defense has been unstoppable. Offense is question mark, and vice versa. 49ers offense has been unstoppable other than the last game. Defense has been the question mark. Um, I, I think I'm going to go 49ers. I think they just have it. I think Purdy's going to show what he could have done that year that they lost to the Eagles because they got all the quarterbacks got injured, and sort of bring it back to Philadelphia and sort of be like, you guys just had that one lucky year of winning without with playing pretty much, uh, you know, the water boy at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that's the only way that the Eagles were able to beat us that year. Yeah, no, we love going and beating the brakes off the Eagles though with a fully healthy squad. Well, we're not fully healthy, but with the squad in Philly at Lincoln. I'm of course going Niners. I think as I hopefully we get Trent back and he's healthy. That's going to be a big difference. And then hopefully Pearsall is
Hmm.
healthy as well and can play. Both of them, you got to do your best to be in this game. It's
Hmm.
obviously incredibly important. And give Kyle Shanahan a lead early because he is, I listened today on the radio, 1-31 when we're down in games in the fourth.
Oh man.
So in his whole career. Incredible that he's been able to coach in that many type games.
Yeah.
And still be coaching, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this Niners team goes back to playing the way they did against the Colts and the Bears, uh, I think we're in great hands.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are good in good hands. So we'll see what 49ers team comes out, their injuries, hopefully the players you need stay healthy and get through the game. But it'll be a good game. I think one of the big games, the second big game of the week. After that Sunday
Yep.
night game, Chargers versus Patriots. This will be a good game as well. The return to Harbaugh coaching in the NFL, but going against the Patriots, who you could say are backed for another round of dynasty. Uh, I got to stick with family, and I do think Patriots are going to win this. I think the way Drake May has played, they'll win it. I think Chargers could pull up and not upset though because of coaching and having the players if they say if they're healthy enough to make it a competitive game. But I think Patriots pull this one off.
Yeah, no, agreed. Definitely going Pats here. I think the Pats win by double digits. And this game would be a lot closer if health wasn't as much of a factor with the Chargers. That's the biggest thing with them
Mhm.
is just the decimation to their O line was
Mhm.
horrible. And it's a bummer for Charger fans. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go Pats for this one for sure. But Chargers, I hope next year they stay healthy because that's a fun team.
Yeah, that's a fun team. So, and one of the things with the Chargers I saw, I think they're top three in cap space this year. So the way they play this year with the
Oh,
cap space they have, I think they're going to make some big signings because teams are seeing the Harbaugh, Herbert, that team's for reals, and there's going to be some people wanting
oh
to
yeah,
go there because they'll be Super Bowl contenders, especially with the Chiefs pretty much out already next year.
for sure. Yeah, no, maybe go get a wide receiver.
Yeah,
Another one. Yeah.
another
Even though
one.
Quentin Johnston's been better.
Yeah. Um, and then the last game of the week, Monday night, Texans versus Steelers. I wish it was the Ravens. It would have been a more competitive game, but I think it'll still
Yeah.
be a pretty good game. But I think Texans win this. I think their defense is just unstoppable. Offense for the Texans could be better, but I think that CJ Stroud they could shred this defense pretty easily, and I don't know if Aaron Rodgers could handle what the Texans are going to throw at him.
Yeah, quite frankly, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have about a half second to get rid of the ball because he's not going to want to get sacked by like Will Anderson coming
Hmm.
straight at him. Uh, yeah, the Texans, I think, win this pretty handily. I think this is a big game. Um, I mean, the only way I see it is Kenneth Gainwell goes off for a crazy game with dump
Yeah.
off passes.
Yeah. Which could happen.
It could happen. Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, but I think Rodgers gets hit hard at least a couple times in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's wild card weekend. Exciting weekend. It's the playoffs. It's always good football. Good to watch competitive games. And that's NFL.